Okay, by now you've heard us talk over and over again about brand focused, not to just be product focused, but to be brand focused. What's the difference? Let's go through that real quick. All right, it's been harped and preached over and over again from many, many avenues. Brand focused is there's a mission, there's a image, there's a feeling that a said brand based off a logo, colors, mission statement, objective is trying to portray, right? And one of the best examples is Nike. Nike, just do it, get it done, winner culture, right? Why and how did they get there? At the end of the day, it's just a shoe or a shirt or a hat until it isn't. Because Phil Knight, founder, creator of Nike, had authentic to his purpose to create the best running shoe the world had ever seen. Him, Bannerman, his partner, with the help of Prefontaine and lots of amazing athletes coming up, did he always keep that mission? He always kept that alive. And because of that, it came through in his products because he was brand driven, right? He was mission driven. He had a bigger purpose in mind, not to just sell shoes, right? He started with Blue Ribbon Sports and started selling shoes, but there was a reason that he partnered with the shoes that he did. At the time, I think it was Tiger Shoes out of Japan. The reason he partnered with them is because they were among the best. And then eventually, there was some business issues where they wanted more and they weren't delivering, and so he had to go out on his own. Side note, some of the biggest hurdles end up being the biggest victories in business. So keep that in mind. But because he had to go out on his own, then he had to come up with a new logo, a new brand name. He came up with Nike. And he stuck with his mission. Always do better. Always get better. Always create something better. That was his mission. It just happened to be with shoes. And it was very, very niche at the very beginning, too. So, as we're starting and building our businesses, our e commerce businesses, right? We're selling across the internet, we're selling across the globe. Remember that Phil Knight started with one shoe. That was it. And it wasn't just any shoe, it was a running shoe. It was meant for long distance runners. That was it. That was his niche. So he took his brand mission and put it into that one product. So when we keep saying scale vertically, not horizontally, we mean brand driven with one product, maybe two, maybe three, but that very vertical. That is how you create something sustainable. That is how every business has done it before us, unless they had hundreds of millions of dollars to just throw at advertising and development and whatnot. We don't, right? We're doing this grassroots. So we want to do it right. We want to do it correctly. And we may not reach the heights of Nike selling something like 700 plus million shoes a year, but with everything we do create, we want to do it well. Whatever you do it well. Be brand driven, be brand focused. And that doesn't mean you have to be front facing, social media influencer talking about who you are and your story and whatnot. Just make sure it's transparent in your brand. Doesn't have to be you, but just make sure the message, the authenticity is transparent in your brand. Okay? Because what that creates is a connection. I can buy a pair of shoes from anywhere. Why would I choose Nike? Because of what I connect with that brand, right? You've heard me talk about a few other brands like Legends Clothing, a similar brand where it's talking about, high end, high quality athletes. It was made for professional athletes by professional athletes. So, of course, me considering myself as somewhat of an athlete, I want to connect with that. Same with Nike. I want to connect with a winning culture, the type of culture that never quits. They just do it. So, when you're coming up with your brand, whether it be dog mats, right? The brand there is made for pets, designed for you. It's something designed for the house. Thus, the branding, when you buy a dog mat, is something good for the home, something that looks good and chic and design worthy for your home. But it's also awesome for your pet. That's the brand. That's the connection there, right? I want my home to look good and I want my pet to be taken care of. That's the connection there. I know if I'm buying from Nalalas, that I'm going to get something that is high quality for the home and high quality for the pet. Perfect. So, what is your brand mission going to be? And we've been working on this for months. Understand it's going to evolve. So, whatever you may have started with, you might have started with a color or a palette or a font or a logo or even a brand name that may change or shift over time. Remember, Phil Knight was Blue Ribbon Sports. Okay, and he came up with that. I don't know if you guys have read Shoe Dog yet. If you haven't, please do. Unreal, unreal story. It's not about really the victories of entrepreneurship. It's more so about Phil Knight getting kicked in the teeth for 30 years until he finally went public. So if you want to take on a big dragon, right, it's going to be a big fight. That's what he did. But he came up with it on the spot. He literally was in a meeting about to have a distribution deal with a Japanese supplier and goes, "Hey, what do you guys call your company?" And he goes, Blue Ribbon Sports, because he had a memory image of his bedroom at home where he was living with his parents, and he had blue ribbons hanging on the wall. That's how he came up with it. So obviously, it matured and evolved over time. A few steps along the way, turned it into Nike, which is based off of some travels that he had in Greece. Long story short, it can evolve. So as you're building out your product, which is brand driven, brand focused, it's what drives the perfection of your product. Realize it will evolve. That being said, get out there. All right.